Hi, I'm Trish. This will be a revision for those of you who are on my Facebook, my Facebook fetish page, and who already saw my live video yesterday about my clinic update. For those of you who aren't on my fetish page, you should be. Get over and have a look. FATTISH, and there's a link down in the blurb, the description. I had a clinic appointment yesterday to get a fill because I still had absolutely zero restriction in my band, and I'm hungry all the time. I'm obsessed with food. Just when can I eat? What can I eat? When can I eat again? And I'm able to eat just like normal, fat person portions and everything. And I am gaining weight. I'm trying to lose weight and trying to at least keep it stable, but it's really, really hard. So I went along and actually spoke to the surgeon who did my original surgery almost 4 years ago, and she was really lovely, really helpful, really patient, and I spoke to her about a few things like the revision surgery I had and everything, and she was able to translate for me the report, and everything on that is fine. As it turns out, I just had adhesions taken down from between my diaphragm and my liver, and everything else was fine. So that was finally good to know that 6 months after the time I had it done. But she when she did the fill, she said she likes to remove all of the fluid that's in there to make sure that it's all still there and that there's not a leak. So she did that, and there's a leak. So there was supposed to be 3.7 mil in my band, and there was only 2 mil. So she topped me back up to 3 mil, I guess, because there's not really going to be any point in trying to get me to, my green zone, because whatever she puts in is just going to leak out, and I'm pretty sure she just put in that bit extra to see if it's leaked the next time I go. So I'm going back in 3 weeks and she'll check it again. I don't know if there's any kind of tests they can do to ascertain exactly where it's leaking from, like whether it's leaking from like the bladder that goes around your stomach, or from the tubing, or from the port, or maybe the tubing's become detached or partially detached. I don't know. There might be some kind of... Actually, I think I have seen it. I think they put like some kind of contrast solution in the syringe and push that in, and they do like some kind of fluoroscopy x-ray or something, I'm not sure, but that would show where it's leaking from. Now, that in itself isn't a big deal. It's one of the complications that can happen with a band, and I'm not surprised, to be honest, that it's happened. I know I had the correct amount of fill the time before that I got a fill, because that doctor also, she took all of the fluid out to make sure it was all in there, and it was, and then she put some more in. But she had a lot of trouble finding the port, and I think I've mentioned this before. When she went in, I could actually feel the needle, because when and if you've not had a fill, please don't have a heart attack, because it doesn't hurt. You get that little initial prick when the needle goes in, and that's it. That's all you feel. Then once it's in there, they can move it around, and for me, I don't feel it. But she did have a lot of trouble doing it. So like once she got the needle in there, she was tapping around a lot, and I know that she was tapping around a lot because I could feel the needle tapping on the plastic around the little silicone bit. I think it's silicone, the squishy bit in the port where the needle's supposed to go into. It's a very different feeling when it taps on the plastic rather than going into the squishy bit. So with her tapping all around, it's very, very possible that she's jabbed into the tubing, made a hole in it. There's the leak. So, I'm not happy about it, but, this shit happens. So, it does mean, if I want my band to work properly, it's not going to work properly with a leak. So I do now, at the very least, need another revision surgery to either replace the port or the tubing or the whole unit. Given that I've had pain with this lap band since I got it, which is it's been almost 4 years now, and it's not constant pain, but it is very, very severe pain when I get it, and at the moment I'm getting it probably a couple of times a week. I've already had a revision surgery, and I've already had all the tests to try to find out what's causing the pain. If I've got to go in for another surgery, and I do, I'm very, very, very seriously considering just saying to them, just take the band out and bypass me instead. I can't be sleeved because I'm prone to reflux, and being sleeved can make reflux worse, and I couldn't cope with that. And then, like when you're sleeved, they cut away most of your stomach and they throw it in the bin. It's gone. It's not reversible. So then if I did that and I got really bad reflux, the only way to fix that is to get bypassed. So I will bypass the sleeving and just go straight for a bypass, because then they don't throw anything out. They give you a much smaller stomach pouch, and they bypass a section of your small intestine, but they leave it all in there. So if worse comes to worse and it's not working out for me, something goes wrong, whatever, I can most likely have it reversed, and that appeals to me a lot more. And I did talk to her about that, and she said it, depending on my anatomy, which they wouldn't know until they got into my stomach or into my abdominal cavity, if they could do it, then yes, I can be bypassed. I would need to have a gastroscopy beforehand, I guess, just to make sure that everything looks fine and everything's okay. So in 3 weeks, I've got 3 weeks to decide whether I just try to stick with the lap band, but I don't think I will. I've got the pain now. It's just this little niggling pain, but I've got it, and I know most likely when I eat later it's going to get worse, or it might not. I don't know. It hurts when I run sometimes. It's just, sometimes when I get up in the morning it hurts. Sometimes it just hurts when I reason. It's driving me crazy, and I'm over it. And I'm not bagging the lap band. I am not at all bagging the lap band. The lap band has been great for me. My highest weight was 170 kilos. When I got lap banded, I was 140. That was after the Optifast. And I was 96 kilos today. So, just from the lap banding alone, I've lost 54 kilos. So it's been very successful for me. And when it's at the right feel, it does work really, really well. I'm going to have to pick the brains of a few people I know who have been lap banded and then become bypassed. Just things like, did you have success with the lap band? Why did you convert to bypass? Did you then... were you at goal weight when you got bypassed? Did you continue to just maintain, or did you lose more weight? Because I know a lot of people who've been bypassed and they lose weight and they keep losing weight, and then they don't want to lose weight anymore, but they keep losing weight, and then they struggle to eat enough to maintain weight, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want to go under about 85 kilos, but I'll work it all out. Plus also, because I've had my boobs done, and, I've put on 10, 11 kilos since then, and I just feel like that my boobs, I don't think they have got bigger, but they just... Because, my bras are still fitting the same, but I worry that... Because I'm not going to have any restriction and I'm going to be on a waiting list to have whatever done, that I'm going to, continue to gain weight, and I'm going to wreck my boobs and need them redone, which will never happen. And then I'm worried, the other way as well, if I get bypassed and then I lose a shit ton more weight, am I going to wreck my boobs? Because there'll be, I'll lose one of my boobs as well, and then, all that volume will be gone. So I need to think about all those sort of things. And I do know a lady who was lap banded, then got bypassed, or was lap banded, lost a phenomenal amount of weight, had a lot of plastic surgery done to, or, reconstructive surgery, then regained weight and then got bypassed, and now she's lost weight again, and I'll pick her brains to find out with her, with her weight gain and then her weight loss and everything, if it affected the results of her plastic surgery. Because I've got to get I'm on the waiting list to get an abdominoplasty done next year, by the end of April probably. Now that's not going to happen now, being completely realistic, because I need to be under a BMI of 30. That's not going to happen with no fluid in my band. I can't do that. It's just impossible. So that is going to need to be postponed, which I'm kind of really upset about that in a way, but I'm also kind of relieved because I feel like I was maybe not quite ready for that kind of major surgery. I don't know. I'm still trying to process it in my head. So I'm going to have to organise that. But when I had that abdominoplasty, I was going to get my dog ears fixed here as well and get my fat necrosis injected with cortisone, and I don't want to wait another year or 2 years to get those issues fixed. So that probably means I'm going to have like an extra surgery just to get these dog ears fixed and deal with this fat necrosis. So I need to think about that as well. So I've got a lot to think about. I've got a lot of questions to ask. I've got a lot of things to plan. So if there is anyone out there who has been lap banded and had great success with it, and then for one reason or another has had to then convert to bypass, can you let me know? Just write it down in the comments how you went with it. How you went with it. If you continued to lose a lot more weight, or if you just maintained. And also another thing I want to know about bypass is, from what I can tell, most weight loss surgeries have like a use-by date on them. They're not permanent in an easy kind of way. That probably doesn't make sense. You know, with the lap band, I have found that the first 18 months to 2 years were like a honeymoon period. That was when I lost, like the bulk of my weight, and it wasn't easy, but it was it came off fairly easily and fairly steady. Now it's really, really hard. Even when I had the correct amount of fill, it was still pretty hard to maintain. So, although I have been having a lot of problems. I also know people who've been bypassed and sleeved, and they have the same, like they have that honeymoon period where they lose a phenomenal amount of weight and then they struggle, or they regain weight. So I don't want just like another weight loss surgery that's going to be really easy, or relatively easy for the first year or two, and then get hard again, where I've got to jump back on that yo-yo dieting bandwagon again. I don't want that. That's just bullshit. I may as well have nothing if that's going to be the case. So, and also, if there's anyone out there who has lost a lot of weight, like got down to their own goal weight, and had plastic reconstructive surgeries, and then gone on to either gain a lot of weight back, and I'm talking like at least 10 or 20 kilos, or then gone on and lost more weight, if that has affected the results of their plastic surgeries. Mainly breast surgery and tummy tuck or body lift surgeries. So that's it. That's my update for the time being. I'll update you all again in 3 weeks as to what is happening. Now I also did, and I was going to tack it onto the end of this video, but I'll make it a separate little video of my fill I had yesterday. I finally worked up the guts to ask the surgeon if I could videotape it. And it was pretty gutsy for me as well, because that meant I had to watch. But as it turned out, I'm half blind and I couldn't actually see what was going on that close up anyway. So I'll post that in a separate video. Okay, so that's it for me now. Be another update on this in 3 weeks, but I think I've got a list of other videos I want to make in that time anyway. So. Oh, and for those of you who are on my Fatish and commented yesterday on my video, thank you so much for all of the support. That's just wonderful. I haven't replied yet on there. I was just so drained yesterday. I just couldn't even think anymore. I just went to bed. So I will get back to all of you, and thanks everyone for the support and the encouragement.